Hello, my friends. This is Reptile7 again for the third part of Hallo-week. And today, I'm going to be showing you guys the October comic books I own, which are comic books that are for October. And these are pretty old. The first one I'm going to be showing you, they're all authentic, by the way. These are all authentic. First up is Tomb of Dracula, number 49. It's a very interesting comic book. It was worth 30 cents at the time, but I got it for like 11 cents. The guy was nice. And, this comic book is Comic Dom's #1 fear magazine. So, that's good. And this is, as the title says, the most bizarre vampire thriller ever. The lore of the undead, which is what they call vampire, battles Robin Hood, Frankenstein, Dracula, and other great shock stars. And you'll understand that once I start explaining. Not to reveal the surprise ending of There Shall Come Death. That's the title of it. So on the first page, this is how the story starts, and I'll just tell you the date. Let's see. This was October, of course, and this was 1976, so pretty old. So here is There Shall Come Death. So basically, the Lord of the Vampire is just walking around his castle and talking to his wife when suddenly, poof, he literally disappears. And he ends up, after this ad, oh wait, this flicks to another story that's happening at the same time, where Blade is fighting off against a vampire version of himself, which I still don't understand how that worked. But, Vampire Dracula ends up transported into this universe with Dargan, Huckleberry Finn, Miss Angie, who's the woman who's in there, and a bunch of other monsters. And in case you're wondering how this can actually exist, well, Miss Angie, which is the name of the woman, she is, really, as you can see from here, an insane woman locked up in an asylum, and what she does is, when she reads a book, the character goes into her magical mind world. So that's why Frankenstein, Dargan, all these people are are literally inside her head. This entire world is inside her head. And now Dracula, a real character, ends up in there, is because she was reading the book, and because of her supposed powers, I guess, he ends up getting sucked into there. But he's the only one of the characters who's actually real. But I don't quite understand, since Frankenstein does exist in the Marvel Universe, maybe he must have come out later, or they just didn't think to put him in. Either way, so this is a definitely weird adventure, although I would definitely pay a lot more than I did for this, because this is a very good comic book. I definitely love it. And yeah, it's pretty good, and that is our starter. Then next, we have Tomb of Dracula again, October, number 20, Tomb of Dracula number 25. This is 25 cents, and Bloodstalkers of Count Dracula is what it's called. This is 1974, so a bit later. And this one is very interesting, because this is the only comic book I own that is the first appearance. That's right, this comic book contains the first appearance of a character, and that is Hannibal King, who is a private investigator. You can see his name on the door. Hannibal King is a private investigator who knows a lot about vampires. So this girl comes in because her husband was killed by Dracula. So she has him, Hannibal King, investigate. He goes around hunting for the information, traveling around, learning the information about where Dracula's headed from other people, and eventually comes to Dracula's area and ends up fighting a horde of vampires and barely managing to escape. Dracula wanted him to be a vampire by the end of it, but the joke was on Dracula. He escaped and killed a couple of vampires in the process, and explained exactly how her husband was tied in with the whole thing, and then reveals, after the girl leaves, that he himself has been a vampire for 3 years. And I'm very happy for this comic book. It's the only first appearance that I own, I'm pretty sure. So I'm very happy to own this. And now, last but not least in our collection, we have Ghost Rider number 8, October, and this is where it gets weird. It is in October, yet it says in here 1974. Yet some of the other Ghost Riders I own say that they are 1974, and this one also says 1974. Yeah, October comes after their months, so it's kind of confusing. So I think it's a misprint, and this because we checked, and this is supposedly from 1973. But I really don't know if this was like a reprint or just a misprint. I really don't know. Either way, so in this one, Mephisto again tries to make deals with Johnny Blaze. Is to get Rocky. Thanks to Rocky, that's the only reason Johnny is alive and not working for Mephisto. But Mephisto threatens to torture Rocky, so he goes off to warn her. And Mephisto lures her away by showing her dad with him burning, which is pretty creepy. And then again lures him off to a ghost of her dad, which is really an image by Mephisto. Ends up getting him locked in here. By the way, this whole time Johnny thinks he's Satan throughout most of the comic book series. In reality, it is the demon Mephisto. Spoiler alerts. And then the character known as, let's see, what's his name? The character known as Slipper, which is another demon with him, gets transformed into Inferno, the Fear Monster, which is the main enemy of this comic book. And what he does is he gives other people fear of the Ghost Rider. So instead, since they're afraid of him, they start to attack him. And it ends with Ghost Rider being cornered by a lot of angry people, and Mephisto threatening Rocky to renounce her protection of Ghost Rider. And Johnny Blaze is in a tight spot. So that is the end of our October comic books review, I guess, showing. I don't know. And please consider subscribing, and be sure to watch the rest of Hallo-week, because this is going to get really nice and scary. I guess it is a wrap. Till next time, sayonara, sayonara.